Yo, what is up guys? It's the Nightwing at Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video here today. This is going to be the LCS 2021 lock-in day 4 thoughts and opinions. This is the final day of the best of ones, and now we're finally into the best of series. So the first game of the day was Cloud9 versus Dignitas. Cloud9 drafted Jace, Talia, Orianna, Kai'Sa, and Alistar. Dignitas drafted Gangplank, Lillian, Syndra, Aphelios, and Thresh. It's been really interesting looking at the criticism Perkz and Fudge have been getting. Now, I'm going to explain my points on both of them, starting with Fudge. So, Fudge had the Jace pick, and he was pretty much going even in CS against Fake God. He's been playing excessively passive, or he's been playing excessively aggressive and not been amounting to much. He hasn't really carried a game yet. He hasn't really solo lost a game either. He's been really underwhelming so far. Now, can he improve in the future? Yes, he can, but I don't personally think he's been playing that good. Now, for Perkz, I think Perkz is going through some like weird carry crisis, because when you're looking at Perkz in the game, you can clearly see his laning phase pretty good overall on certain champions, depending on which comp you have him on. And you can see his team fighting, which is pretty solid. Other than that, he's not been really a standout carry like someone like Jensen has been on Team Liquid. Now, I think the team personally needs more time to synergize because they have a new top and mid laner. Those are some very crucial positions where they have to pretty much be parts of the team to really lead the team to a certain point. Blabber has looked pretty good overall. Blabber definitely did put a lot of pressure towards top side because Fudge was also getting pressured by Dardoch top side as well. Now, in terms of the rest of the game, at that moment in the game that you just saw at 15 minutes in where Vulcan helped Cloud9 finally get kills on the board, they started accelerating the pace of the game. Then later on, they had a dragon fight where they caught out Dardoch, and they definitely looked pretty good up to a certain point. The moment in the game a lot of people are talking about is the game moment where Vulcan and Perkz kind of overstay. They get caught out by Dignitas, and then Cloud9 take the remaining dragon that they need to pretty much secure the game. Now, we could go shoulda, woulda, coulda. Dignitas should have did that. Really doesn't matter. Do you want to know why? Because they didn't do that. It's useless to focus on a mistake that they did not do because they just didn't do it. If they were a better team, had better map awareness, they could have saw that Cloud9 were doing Dragon as they caught out Cloud9's support and mid laner. Now, on Dignitas' side, Saligo sucks, Fake God sucks. Now, I think Neo and Afromu are okay bot lane. I think Afromu has been getting a fair amount of criticism for making a lot of weirdly int plays. I don't think they're weird int plays. I just personally think that, you know, when you're on a playmaking support and you fail, you're going to look bad by default. And then if your team looks bad, you're going to look even worse, right? I think Dardoch has been a fine jungler so far. And I personally think that when it comes to the LCS 2021 Spring Split, he'll be one of the junglers that people say, if we're on a better team, could have had a lot more success. But since Dardoch has had a very weird polarizing career, he's going to be stuck on teams like Dignitas because, I mean, other big organizations won't want to deal with him. Now, I don't know how he personally is now, but that's kind of the hole he dug himself. Now, looking at Neo overall, I think Neo's been a pretty okay ADC. It's nice to see these North American ADCs, you know, finally get some shine and finally get to be on LCS teams. But looking at Cloud9, there's definitely moments in the game where you could clearly tell they still need some work. Like, as you can clearly tell during moments in the game, one person's going in, the other two clearly are coming in, but one person looks like they don't want to fully commit. I personally think if you want to look at an MVP for Cloud9, you definitely want to look at either Sven or Blabber. I think Sven has been playing out of his mind. Definitely the best ADC in North America right now. Blabber definitely in the contention still for top 3 jungler in the LCS. So obviously Cloud9 don't have bad players overall. It depends on, you know, how big of a weakness can Fudge be, or how big of a strong opposition can Perkz be. Those are things that later on will have to get figured out as the season progresses, even finishing the rest of this tournament. Now, on the day of recording this video and the day you're seeing this video, Cloud9 is facing TSM. Now, facing TSM is going to be either a one-sided stomp or TSM is going to upset Cloud9. It's potentially going to go one of two ways. But looking at the rest of this game, Cloud9 definitely don't want to give over those crucial kills against the support and the mid laner, because against a better team, that could have been game. So there's moments in the game they still need to work on, but I don't think they have truly bad players as people are making it out to be. You know, people are saying, well, Perks was shit talking and so much fudge. Let them shit talk. Stop being a sensitive snowflake. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, dudes trash talk if you literally go outside. I don't know what else to tell you. You know what I mean? Alright, next game. You have Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves. Golden Guardians drafted Quinn, Lillian, Set, Aphelios, and Alistar. 100 Thieves drafted Renekton, Nidalee, Akali, Kai'Sa, and Gragas. So what's super interesting about this game is not how it personally went, because Golden Guardians got absolutely railed this game. I like that Golden Guardians took the Quinn pick as a counter pick to Someday. Now, overall, did Niles play Quinn to a certain point to really warrant the counter pick? It's not really about that. It shows that they're willing to at least do it, because I personally feel like a lot of teams during drafting phase will be a little safe depending on who they're facing. They were clearly showing that they want to definitely throw a wrench in the drafting phase and throw out these counter picks. Now, they definitely got destroyed because, let's be honest, their 100 Thieves have just way better players by default. Even if they, like, were winning, at a certain point, you could just see 100 Thieves easily taking it back. They were diving correctly. They were definitely making a lot of proactive map moves. And then you have to look at it another way, which is 100 Thieves definitely are the best, if not one of the best teams in the LCS 2021 lock-in tournament right now. I definitely think they're firing on all cylinders, and I definitely think they are a contender to win this tournament. So, them beating Golden Guardians is, now this is more of a statement game, because even when you have the counter pick, it definitely shows that they were willing to definitely put enough pressure top lane to make sure it wasn't going to start popping off, which is a good thing, and that shows another level that 100 Thieves is at compared to the other teams in the LCS currently right now. But other than that, Stixxay still look bad. They definitely probably can't communicate with Newbie very well. I don't know how his English is, but definitely go too well. Iconic and a Blaze Olive. I kind of lump Blaze Olive and Palafox together in some certain way, because they both kind of suck. But, you know, let's see how it pans out for Golden Guardians later on as the LCS 2021 Spring Split starts. Now, then you later on get to the next game, which is FlyQuest versus Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses were undefeated going into this game. FlyQuest drafted Gragas, Olaf, Akali, Misfortune, and Seraphine. EG drafted Orin, Graves, Twisted Fate, Aphelios, and Thresh. So what we were talking about on the final episode of Season 1 of the C9 Fancast was, if Impact doesn't get Renekton, can he have that carry performance? Now, to be fair, I think it's very bad drafting that teams gave him Renekton 3 times in a row, especially since you scrimmed against this team. That's even more shitty drafting, but I digress. So, Impact can carry, but it's not something you draft for, and it was really good that he can show people last week that he can carry sufficiently. I'm proud he can show people what he can do as a top laner. I mean, He's won literally 4 LCS splits. He's finished, what, second place at MSI 2019. He's won a world championship. He can carry games, but it's not something you draft for. It is what it is. Now, looking at how the chat was with Jose Diodo, because FlyQuest finally got Jose Diodo, the chat was definitely welcoming. It was really nice to see all these Spanish people come out and support this guy. It was really nice to see that. Though there was a lot of spam in the YouTube chat when I was watching it, it was nice to see that. And he did not play that good today. I'm being honest here. Do not let Twitch chat or YouTube chat hype you up. He did not play that well. He just made FlyQuest not look like crap, which is a good thing. I personally think Licorice looked really good all day. He had that amazing Gragas cast later on during the game. I definitely think Johnson stepped up today, which was good enough. You had your top laner and your AD carry step up today, which was pretty good. I think Diamond and Palafox definitely have to kind of find out what type of players they want to be on the LCS stage. Palafox has not looked that good, and neither has Diamond. So let's hope the rest of FlyQuest can finally at least mold themselves to a certain playstyle that can definitely show us what they can really be. But it was nice to finally see Jose Diodo. Is he all that he is hyped up to be? Not really. Like, I'm being honest here. Like, he's good. I see some good things he's doing in the game. His pathing is where he's placing his time, where he's looking at the objectives. But other than that, he's an okay jungler. Now, looking at the rest of what FlyQuest did, they definitely started ramping up when they started getting objectives like dragons. They eventually got a Baron, and they eventually took down Evil Geniuses, who are undefeated. And they had to beat Evil Geniuses to eventually even go further in the tournament, though, which was really good. Now, in the next game, you had the most one-sided stomp of all day. this was worse than Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves. Team Liquid versus TSM, which should be a marquee matchup of the LCS. As you guys already know, Cloud9, TSM, Team Liquid, the biggest organizations in the LCS, with 100 Thieves coming right in there as well, and might be a top 3 org after we see how 2021 ends for the LCS 2021 season. So TSM drafted Gnar, Lillian, Syndra, Kai'Sa, and Leona. Team Liquid drafted Camille, Nidalee, Galio, Misfortune, and Nautilus. This game was definitely bot diff. Literally bot diff. So I want to replay this part right here. So I don't know if this was pure miscommunication. So they almost killed Lost right here. And as you can clearly see, he could potentially go back in if he jukes CoreJJ's hook. But he doesn't. Like, Sword Art sits right here, almost kills Tactical, and Lost is just standing there. Like, what the hell is going on? CoreJJ gets 2 kills, and after this big giant bot lane diff where CoreJJ takes his giant Nautilus wrench hook and sticks it so far up TSM's ass, it doesn't matter, because this game doesn't mean shit, because Team Liquid just literally beat the fuck out of them. You see TSM making some proactive moves, which is good. I don't want them just standing there losing, but they played bad. Their drafting phase is weird because they definitely are still a new team per se, because Bjergsen's also a new head coach. I did see the first episode of Season 7 of TSM Legends, which definitely gives you a little bit of insight into how they're talking during the game. Sword Art wants to do something, Spigot is also kind of conflicted on what he should do. There's going to be some communication issues per se. They're most likely listening to Sword Art because of experience, which definitely can be a factor into that. But overall, for this game, there's not much to really say. The draft was fine overall. If you want to pick passive laners, you should pick passive laners for the positions in your team that aren't going to be carries, like top lane potentially. Or you might give yourself a passive ADC, which they did in this draft. They gave Huni, Gnar, and lost Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa has been one of the best ADCs for the LCS 2021 lock-in. So looking at that, you should be like, okay, this is going to be a lot more better for them, which it wasn't. And I'm thinking to myself, what is Power of Evil doing? And this is the reason why I didn't have them super far up in my LCS 2021 Spring Split power rankings, was because I really don't think they're that good. Like, in terms of the roster they built, I just think the roster isn't as good compared to the other, the EG roster, the Cloud9 roster, the 100 Thieves roster, and the Team Liquid roster. Now, looking at Santorin, he finally was able to get to play with Team Liquid. He looked okay, but I don't want to really judge this game based from what Santorin was doing, because, like, let's be honest here, he had like 4 winning lanes, his bot lane won in the game. I'm not really as high on Santorin as a lot of other people are. He played okay in this game, but you factor in this, he didn't have to do much. Now, Huni solo killing Alphari was pretty interesting overall, but I don't really think that this game should really be put on him. I definitely think TSM needs to focus on a single strategy overall, like be a Power of Evil team, or definitely focus on maybe playing towards top side. Something. You need a defined playstyle, because if you don't find one, you're going to not have a playstyle, and you're definitely going to be not that good. But overall, this is still Kespa Cup, Demacia Cup for, LCS. So these are just ideas that I'm thinking about right now that they could eventually do. Now, overall, what could they really improve on? I mean, there's a lot. Like let's be honest here. I think the drafting phase is fine overall. I think people just focus too much on drafting phase, because it's not really about that. When players are given champions, they have to be able to execute stuff they practice in scrims. Now, Power of Evil is supposed to be a good carry mid laner for them. He can carry, but it's not really been a focal point. I personally thought going into this tournament, you would have Sword Art pretty much just playing for Power of Evil, and you'd also have Spica also playing for Power of Evil. That's not happening, and like, things are not looking good. I personally think they're gonna eventually end up being a Power of Evil team. It's just not looking like that right now. And overall, Team Liquid smashed them, and it was just basically bot lane diff. That's all there was to this game. The final game of today was Immortals versus FlyQuest. This game, oh my god. Jose Diodo ran into a Baron without smite, flashed in, and just queued. I don't... That's... Oh god, the LCS sucks. But Immortals, they drafted Malphite, Graves, Syndra, Jhin, Gragas. FlyQuest drafted Gnar, Lillian, Akali, Kai'Sa, Leona. like, Immortals, credit to them, were playing pretty well this game. They were diving top, they were getting objectives. At a certain point during the game, you know what happens when bad teams like this don't start ending the game. They take a bad dragon fight. They lose it, and then the gold lead swiftly favors FlyQuest, because even at moments like here, Licorice is trying to do something, and then later on, you can clearly see Johnson trying to help Licorice. As I said before, Johnson and Licorice are the best players on the team. You can see Johnson right there, at least helping Licorice and flashing forward, at least getting that trade kill back onto Keith. I wouldn't really personally do that all the time if I was a pro player, but hey, that was a situation that was given to him, so he make the most out of it. And he did get the kill, so that's good in and of itself. But later on, Immortals lost a dragon fight, gave over Infernal Dragon, then after that, did a horrible Baron call. Jose Diodo steals the Baron, I swear, without smite. Just flash, Q, stole the dragon. This terrible, like, not really terrible per se. They did do good things, but like, these situations just shouldn't happen. And people say, well, they didn't scrim a lot. They're all using all subs. Excuses are like assholes. Everybody has one, and they all stink. You can keep throwing excuses for some of these guys. I don't give a shit. I don't care about the excuses. You didn't win. You played poorly. Why does a team literally not being together for so long excuse bad gameplay? Like, they have Keith and Joey. And not even just that, they have Keith. Keith's been playing for a very long time. So couldn't he just mold the team to a certain way just for today? I'm just saying, a lot of people just make excuses without really just saying, oh, hey, they sucked, they played bad. Because FlyQuest have Jose Diodo, Palafox, and Diamond. And this is literally some of their first games in the LCS ever. And this is Palafox and Diamond's first year playing LCS. And FlyQuest today turned it on and looked good. So that's kind of the thing. Like, a lot of people just want to make excuses for these guys. And that's why sometimes they don't get better in your eyes, because you're consistently making excuses for them. But overall, after this day concluded, FlyQuest made it to the knockout round. And then later on, you have the best of series, which I'll look up right now. So later today, when I do the thoughts and opinions for day 5, when it concerns to the best of threes, let me look at the games right here to give you a quick little preview of the games. So you have Cloud9 versus TSM, which is, you know, El Clasico. This is the real rivalry of the LCS. Don't let people tell you it's TSM versus CLG. That's a shitty rivalry. That never really was good in my own personal opinion. And you also have 100 Thieves versus Immortals. 100 Thieves versus Immortals. That should be a one-sided stomp for 100 Thieves. Cloud9 versus TSM is pretty interesting, but looking at how recently TSM has not been performing that good, I would say Cloud9 easily wins this, but who knows? TSM might actually upset Cloud9. I don't think so. I think these are just 3-0s or 2-0s, because these are just best of threes, so you only need to win literally 2 games. That's it. I think 100 Thieves, easily 2-0s. Cloud9 should swiftly 2-0. But looking at how both teams have had their ups and downs recently, it looks like potentially it might actually just go the distance in 3 games, which is fine overall. But I definitely think that these best of threes are going to be one-sided stomps. 100 Thieves and Cloud9 should easily knock around these 2 teams overall. But that's pretty much it for the LCS 2021 lock-in day 4. What did you guys think about this day? What was your favorite game of the day? Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, Way of Life Esports. Signing out, guys. Peace. You guys have a good day. See you later.